Hello, good morning. How are we doing today? Hmm. Had a bit of fun yesterday because I saw the latest Boots ad, Christmas ad. Now, if you're in the UK, you know what Boots is. If you're not in the UK, Boots is basically like a chemist's, but also sells of medicine, smellies, soap, shampoo, makeup, and so on. And they have a quite glamorous Christmas ad every year. And this year, their ad featured a lady who's not white, who was Mrs. Claus, and instead of the habitual elves, there were a lot of drag queens and non-binary Santa workshop workers who produced all these kind of quite glamorous, smelly, sparkly perfumes, lipsticks, so on. And the catchphrase right at the end was after they, while all this is happening, basically, Santa's snoring quite happily in his armchair, you see, and right at the end of the ad, basically the Mrs. Claus and all the fairy elves wake him up and send him on his way, and the catchphrase is, "Well, you didn't think he was going to do it all by himself, did you?" Something like that. No, I thought it was quite funny and quite amusing, and it's an ad that features the pronouns they, them as well once. So, of course, certain members of society were in uproar, because firstly, it's woke, and, why do they have to, was this a part of the gay agenda? And, of course, they are taking the mick out of Father Christmas, who is a fictitious character, but, of course, he's a jolly fat white man. So I had a lot of fun watching the reaction to this ad because clearly, you can't, it has to be elves of a certain size, all have to be sort of male, white, the usual traditional shebang. But this is exactly it, and this is what made me think to share with you about today's video is this kind of idea about traditional. And I think traditional doesn't necessarily mean what a lot of people think it means, because for a lot of people, traditional means doing things in the same way that they were done, say, 500 years ago, which is clearly not right and potentially not relevant. Now, traditional actually means that things are done in the spirit of the way they used to be done, for example, not exactly in the same way. Because if you think about it, people still think that exchanging Christmas wishes, if you like, is a traditional thing to do. But actually, a lot of us these days don't do the Christmas card anymore. For example, we just exchange other texts or virtual cards and all the rest of it. So, is that traditional? Because the activity, if you like, of exchanging wishes of good fortune and so on with your acquaintances is, if you like, traditional, but the way we do it isn't. So clearly, we are respecting the spirit of the holiday, even if we're not doing things in the same way we did 500 years ago, right? So tradition to me doesn't mean that we have to do things in exactly the same way. It means that maybe we keep the spirit of it. And let's face it, and I know a few pagan friends of mine who will probably punch the air at this point. Let's talk about the winter holidays rather than just Christmas, because we know that Christmas, as nice as it is for people to celebrate that sort of thing, is really just another holiday that was placed on the top of maybe older winter solstice traditions and or winter traditions and so on. Let's not necessarily pretend that the winter holidays are necessarily just Christmas. For a lot of people, I mean different things, and let's just wish each other a happy end of the year, really, because ultimately it's kind of what it is. But I'm not trying to necessarily be woke and to take the Christ out of Christmas here. For some people who are, Christians, then Christmas has a very specific meaning and fair play, and I hope they celebrate in the way they want to. That's not the point. The point here isn't to make Christmas necessarily oh my God, you're being anti-Christian. I'm not. If you're a Christian and you want to celebrate Christmas in that way, it's fine. My point is that you can celebrate the holidays, the Christmas holidays, the winter holidays, in whatever way you wish, whether you're Christian or not. I think that's the point. And I think the point is that for Christians, Christmas is a thing. For non-Christians, they can still celebrate the winter holidays in a different way. I think that's the point here. And this brings me back to this particular ad, because the point of this ad is that you can celebrate the winter holidays in a different way than the traditional way. Traditional meaning in this case, the same way that your parents, grandparents, and their forebears did. That's the point. Tradition means to me, as I say, is keeping the spirit of something, if not necessarily the exact way. I'll give an example. We're always told that Christmas is about holidays and it's about being with family and sharing and blah blah blah. Now, how about if you're a trans person that was thrown out of the family for being trans? What family are you going to celebrate Christmas with? What happens if your family basically do not accept you as being gay or as being non-binary or whatever? What family are you going to celebrate that Christmas or that winter holiday with? Are you not allowed to do it because the family disowns you? So I think the idea here is, yes, winter holidays are about spending time with the people that you love and with family, but that family doesn't have to be the neutral, so the nuclear, the traditional family unit, if you want. Your family could be whoever you choose them to be. If your family are your friends or your partner or other people that support you and around you, then celebrate it with them in the way that you choose to do it. It doesn't have to be the mince pies. It doesn't have to be the turkey. It doesn't have to be the jolly fat man and grandpa, and grandma around the Christmas table. It's your time of the year where you essentially take stock and hibernate a little bit, potentially emotionally, and get to enjoy the way you want it the way do you want to enjoy it. And what that family is, say, a group of friends, a good group of friends that accept you for who you are, then that's your family, that's your tribe. And you're still not breaking tradition, because if tradition really is spending time with the people you love, then that's what you're doing. It doesn't have to be the 500-year-old tradition of being around family, especially if their family is toxic to you. So I suppose the message here is that all this whole uproar about the Boots ad and about breaking with tradition. Tradition doesn't mean doing things the same way. It means keeping with the spirit of things. And if Christmas and all the winter holidays, depending on which way you want to celebrate it, is about family, then celebrate it with the family you want, not with the family that you're told you need. So I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, well, maybe listen to it again or just drop me a line. But again, I suppose the idea is that you're allowed to be around the people you love and celebrate you, not the people that you're told you're supposed to love. And those people might not give two farthings about you. So I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.